Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily. Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily. Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily. Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily. Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily. Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily. Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily. Hello, and welcome to the meeting of the Webster County Board of Education. We are so glad you have joined us today. Our meeting will begin momentarily.
It is Monday evening, December, is our school performance and student outcomes and academic goals. And we're so happy to see our spelling bee winners here tonight. And so the superintendent is going to take over.
All right, yeah, thank you guys. So we are here to recognize our county spelling bee winners. I'm going to read those names out. These are the first place winners and for our county spelling bee. So Colton Butler, Webster County High School. Jordan McCoy, Webster County High School. Riker Bennett, Webster County High School. Aaliyah Hamrick, Webster Springs Elementary. Bryson Dunnigan, Glade Elementary, and Kenley Bennett, Glade Elementary School.
Okay, now if you heard your names called, you got to come up.
Yeah, you guys got to come up.
We didn't explain that very well, did we? Okay, now tell us who you are.
I am Aaliyah.
Ooh, what a pretty name. I like that, from Webster Springs Elementary School. Very good. So, anyone else out there whose name was called?
No.
Are you just the brother? Very
I bet you were
good.
excited to come, weren't you?
Oh, we can tell by that smile on your face.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's get a picture here of Mrs. Williams.
Yeah. And mom and dads, if you want any pictures, get them now, and you'll have them.
Yeah, they'll be on our website.
Very good.
Congratulations, good job.
Congratulations. I love that name. That is beautiful. Beautiful name.
I'm going to read our second and third place winners as well. They're not here. I'm just going to recognize them. Drake Brown, second place, Hacker Valley Elementary. Aaliyah Burrell, Webster Springs Elementary, second place. Bella Varner, third place, Webster County High School. Kenley Stanley, third place, Glade Elementary. Rayana Williams, third place, Webster Springs Elementary. Sophia White, second place, Glade Elementary. Madeline Ayers, second place, Glade Elementary. Leela Snyder, third place, Webster County High School. And Keegan Tharp, third place, Glade Elementary School as well. Can I take a picture? You got it? You already got it? You're good? All right. I was making sure you had it. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Sorry. All right.
Okay, next on our agenda is approval of the minutes, which we all had in our packets. Is there a motion to bring approval of the minutes onto the floor?
So moved.
Susan, is there a second?
Second.
Lisa. Any corrections or additions to the minutes from the regular meeting held Friday, November 22nd, 2024? Mike, you have any?
No.
Susan, listen to me.
Yes. On suspension without pay, I recused myself.
And I thought it said that.
Me too. Hold on.
Oh, right here. Okay, go back under personnel
All right,
action.
Does it not need to be, does it not need to be?
You recused
let
before they
vote in?
brought it onto the table. That's-
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
That's good.
Anything else, Susan?
No.
If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now we're down to
LSIC.
presentation, right?
Yep, LSIC.
And Carrie Jo, you've got the floor. Webster Springs Elementary School LSIC presentation. And
Thank you.
thank you. she's got the machine that makes that nice
Yeah,
staple.
I do. I love that part of the copier. Well, thank you for having me this evening. I have one of my committee members here, Lindsay Jordan. She's one of our parents, so she came out today. So when we had our meeting, I'm just kind of doing an overview of things that we have discussed and what's happening at Webster Springs Elementary. So our after school is doing excellent this year. We have 72 students enrolled. We have a daily average of 31 kids coming, which is like the highest we've had in years. They go to homework help. We are collaborating with WCBOE Extension to do a nutrition thing. They do it through Zoom. And we have STEM activities, 3D printing, robotics, art projects, gardening, greenhouses. We do media productions. The kids are making their own little movies and learning how to do news. So they're having a lot of fun with those activities. So it's going really, really well this year. Our attendance, I've put the last few years on there, and I got this information from Mrs. Dillon that she had put out recently. But our attendance has increased each year, so I feel we're not exactly where we need to be, but we are doing pretty good. We're at 94% right now. We've increased about 1% or 1.02% over the last 3 years. And our teachers talk to the kids about the importance of being at school. We post things on our Facebook page and our website about attendance that Mrs. Dillon shares with us. And we have an attendance incentive that we've had going on. This is our 3rd year with it, and the kids really enjoy it, so it's going well. One of our big things in our strategic plan and what we've been working on at Webster Springs is communication. It can always be improved, and we're doing lots of things to hopefully improve our communication with parents in the community. So we post our activities announcements on our school website and Facebook page. I do a monthly calendar of all activities that are going on that include our testing schedules, and that goes home every month, hopefully right before the month starts. We get it out. We are using Seesaw, which is what the county has gave to the all the elementary schools, and it's a great program. It's a great way to be in communication with parents. Teachers are able to show parents their work through Seesaw, so it's great. Even as a parent, I can see what my child is doing in class and grades that she's receiving and where she needs help. So we are using that. We have 59 families that have not logged on, so we're working with those families to try to get them one to start using the program. And another big thing that I try to do is the communication with my staff. So what I have been doing, and I've been doing this since I started in this position, is I do a weekly principal update. So I try to have it out every Friday, but sometimes it's Monday morning. And it's just, I give a 2-week schedule of what's happening, like what my schedule is, anything that's happening in the building. They have that. And then any pertinent information I think that they need to have, whether it's something that I need them to be doing or something I've received from Mr. Arbogast that needs to go out, all that information's on there. So those are some things we're doing in ways of communication with our parents and community and our staff. One of the things that we talked about in our LSIC meeting was drills. Of course, we do our fire drills frequently. As soon as we start getting nice weather, which could be tomorrow, and nice today, we might do a fire drill. But, so we've been getting those in, of course. We actually, it ended up not being a drill. We had a medical emergency that we had to put in place this year, and it went really well. I mean, everyone did what they were supposed to do. We had no issues. So it helped, because I always tell staff at the beginning of the year to review their crisis manuals with their students so they know what they need to do in regard to any situation. We have done a active shooter drill this year, and I did it during a transition time, which was new. Didn't do that last year. It was good overall, but we found out where we have some issues and things we need to work on, because I had some kids going, oh, I got to walk all the way back down to my classroom. We're like, that's not what we need to do. if there's someone in the building, we have to go to like the closest rooms. So that pointed out some good things for us that we need to work on with our students. And one of the things in our meeting that we discussed is we felt at some point it would be nice if we could do a drill with our local police, fire department, and have other people involved. Because if something really is going on, it's not just going to be us. Like, what is everybody else going to be doing? So that was something that we discussed in our meeting. You know, that maybe at some point we could get set up and have the local police do something with us, fire department, whoever, you know, to come in and do something with us and our students. So, and also one thing we have is, I just brought mine up, every room in our building has a crisis manual, and it has the layout of the school in it, it has all emergency contact information in it, and then also it has what to do for each drill. So what do we do for fire drills? What do we do if there's a bomb threat? What do we do for a medical emergency or active shooter or a weather emergency? So all that's in here, and this is what our teachers rely on to go over with their students. So no matter what room they're in, there's a copy in there. Family engagement, that is another thing that we discussed in our meeting, and we talked about what can we do, because sometimes we plan things and then we only have like a handful of people come out. So I kind of spoke to the parents that were are part of my committee and asking, you know, what is something you would come out and participate in with your child. So some of the things that we're going to try to do during the second semester is some literacy nights like book bingo or family reading night, STEM activities, and then one they came up with is maybe using STEM or literacy-based activities for escape rooms. So that's kind of been a big thing, is escape rooms. I probably never get out, but so some of the things that we're planning, and hopefully we can get a nice turnout in next semester. So the next couple of pages, I've just given you all of our testing data. You have beginning of the year, so it's our benchmarks that we have taken at the beginning of September. Then you also have end of the year from last year. So of course kindergarten you only have for beginning of the year, and then you can see how last year's kindergarten kids did at the end of the year and how they did at the beginning of the year as first graders. So I did that through ELA all the way through our 6th grade and math. Some are not terrible. There's areas we definitely need to improve on, and I always know at the beginning of the year you have kids coming back from summer break, so they always forget everything those first few weeks, and then it's just getting back into the routines, and they're also being tested on the next year's grade level. So some of it's stuff that they haven't seen yet, so I don't expect outstanding scores for beginning of the year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how our middle of the year benchmarks will be, because we'll take those in January and see how we have improved. So some of the things that we are working on to help with our scores, because we know we do have some gaps happening, is our interventionist is focused on K-3, because we have that bill with the Third Grade Success Act. So she comes in, and during intervention time she pulls small groups and works with them based on what skills that they are the weakest in, and kind of builds them up. And those kind of are fluid, so they can change throughout the year based on our scoring. So 4th through 6th grade, we do not have another interventionist, so they kind of try to do their own thing, which can be difficult because most of my grade levels only have one teacher. So it's hard to get those small groups in. So we'd love to have another interventionist or 2 teachers per grade. That would be awesome. We are also in our PLCs working on focusing on our standards, making sure we do know how they align with each other and how they align with each grade level. We do have to be very creative on how to do that for any extended period of time, because if I give all the kids to a few people, then other people don't get to use them, so it can be a little difficult at times to get these meetings in. We do, and the expectation in the building is to teach bell to bell, focusing on our standards and learning and using the resources that we have. which is our new math curriculum, so that's a big one, and that's something everybody's learning to use this year. Learning more about our iReady and using all the resources it has. Seesaw has resources available, so we've been working on those too. So our discipline, I have given you basic information for the time that I have been at Webster, and to make it so you can kind of see the whole picture I based it on for each year from the time we started in August through December 9th. So I didn't go any further than today's date. So in 22-23 school year, I had 133 incidents of discipline in that time period. 23-24, I had 62 incidents, and this year I've had 53. And you can kind of see I broke down a little bit as to what the consequences were. What I do, every kid, any kid that's sent to me, I have a conference with them. So that's a given, that they always meet with me for any disciplinary action, and there's always contact with the parents. So that's just kind of given, so I didn't put that on there. One thing I'll have to say this year, having my ISS position has helped greatly. So I truly appreciate you all approving that and getting someone hired for that position. Lillian Hamlick is who is in it, and she is great. She's great with the kids. She's very helpful, so like if I don't have kids in ISS lunch attention, she's in classroom, she's helping with the small groups. So she's very helpful throughout, no matter what I have her doing. And what I've found is, this year I've had 13 incidents of in-school suspension, but a lot of those kids are not repeat offenders. They've been in there once, and that's been it with them. And without this position, a lot of those either would have been out of school or they would have been lunch detention, and I probably would have had a whole lot more incidents because lunch detention would have been no big deal to them. So it has definitely helped, and I do appreciate that position. One thing I'll say, and I know I've mentioned it before, I still think the county needs to look at an alternative school for elementary students, because I will say in my 53 incidents, the majority is a handful of students that it's coming from. So it's something I think our county needs. I think all county needs them. That's just kind of where things unfortunately are going. We're having a lot of behavior starting at much younger ages. But some good things, of course, happening at Webster Springs. I have a wonderful staff that are always going above and beyond what they need to do. Anytime you need help with something, they're always like, what can I do? We've had a Constitution Day assembly where pretty much every grade did a little activity, speech, song, and it was wonderful. Parents came in for that. We had a Veterans Day breakfast in assembly. Once again, all of our grades did some kind of activity for our veterans. Second grade hosted a Macy Thanksgiving Day parade, which we hope to continue because it was a lot of fun. We had all the kids line up in the hallway. Second grade had created balloon floats, and so they came down. Mrs. Markle announced what each one was, and so paraded down through there. The kids loved it. So we're hoping to maybe make that a little bit bigger next year.
Leslie showed me that on her cell phone.
Yeah.
I was amazed. And then at the end where they had all the kids individually, I was like, oh my gosh, how do you even do that? But yeah.
Yeah, she's very good at technology.
It was good. I was impressed. So.
Definitely some fun there. Lots of creative things happening with pumpkins during the fall. 5th grade did a thing with Play-Doh, and it was with our ELA. Mrs. Rule did it, and she was working on having kids learn how to be descriptive. So a kid created whatever, a little person or an animal or something with Play-Doh, and then they had to write on a piece of paper a description of it. The more detailed, the better. So then another person would get only the paper, and they had to try to remake what the first person made. So then she had everything out on display, and some of them were pretty close, and some of them were not close at all. But it was a very fun activity for them, learning how to be very descriptive in their writing. Another thing 5th grade was doing, I'm pretty sure it was on the Civil War. They had a unit, and once they finished that unit, they had their own little Civil War fight with the paper balls. So they used their worksheets from that unit, and had like a paper ball fight, kind of talking about the Civil War. So they had a lot of fun with that. I have some amazing parents and community members. They have came in, they've helped stuff with our Halloween parade. They've decorated the school for the fall. They've decorated it for Christmas. So stop down and see our front lobby. It's wonderful. The kids have enjoyed it every morning coming in. They come in, they have donated towards our backpack program. I have parents that come in and help pack up bags each week because we give out probably close to 70 each week to go home.
For the weekends, do they
Yeah.
go home on Friday?
Yeah. And then we try to do more when we're off for, like Thanksgiving week, they try to pack enough for a week. So, lots of great people, in our community, parents, staff. So another good thing, we have the daycare is getting ready to open. If you haven't stopped in to see it, it is absolutely beautiful.
Did they go ahead and have that open house on Friday?
Yes, they did have that
Oh,
open
yeah,
house.
I couldn't get there, but I had on my calendar, had it
Yep.
been a pretty day, I wanted to go.
Yeah, they had it beautiful. Makes you want to go in and play with stuff. It's very, very nice. So we're looking forward to that. We have the remodeling of the front of our school. That will hopefully be happening probably sometime next year over the summer would be my preference. But anyway, so we're looking forward to having that finished. The renovation for the basketball backstops, we did receive all the money. We raised close to $35,000. So we're working out the final little details on that, and hopefully after the start of the year, we'll have that going. So we're looking forward to getting that going and having it finished for the students in our junior leagues that are playing. Once again, some of the needs, and some of these I've already mentioned to you, is once again, another interventionist or 2 teachers per grade. Either way would work for me, just to help our students better than what we can right now, because
How's
How
your
could
first interventionist being paid?
through my Title I.
I thought it was your so you don't
Yeah.
have enough Title I money to pay for a second one.
I do not. I can only afford one. But yeah, having just another person, even if it's extra aides, because like I said, where I use Lillian when she doesn't have students, she's going in during intervention times or when they're having stations and working with kids, and it has definitely helped some students, just having an extra person there to give them a little more attention, to help with some of those skills. Another thing is we do online speech, which is wonderful, and the person that works at my school, Mara, is great and very professional. She's great with the kids. The kids enjoy. Our only issue is it'd be great if we could get a speech facilitator. So right now I have to use staff to take kids, and they don't have to do a whole lot. They just go in, they get the kids, they get them logged on, and they sit with them while they go through their speech time, and then they go get the next kid. Then I'm having to pull other staff to do that, and so if they're not here, then, and I don't have a sub, then I'm trying to get other people, or I'm doing it myself, and then we're just not at our other duties. So it would be great, and once again, this is somebody we could share with other schools, I think Mara, our speech therapist, works with Hacker Valley. I think we're her 2 schools. So happy to share a person, but it would just greatly help our staff without having to pull them from other job duties in order to get this done. If we do it in the classroom, it's an issue because you have this kid at the back trying to talk to their speech therapist. The class is still going on, and it's going to be distracting for everybody. So something, if you guys could look at that, that'd be great. I mentioned the County Alternative School for elementary students. I would love to have my half-time custodian bumped to a full-time. I said we have a very large building, and in the evenings I only have 1 full-time, 1 half-time. So the blunt of the building is put on one person, and there's no way, time-wise, that he can do everything I expect to be done every day. To thoroughly sweep and mop and sanitize everything, there's just not enough hours for one person. And my half-time person's only there 3.5 hours. I mean, they do what they can, but 3.5 hours goes pretty fast. So that would be something I'd like for you to consider. And I know we've been doing a lot of stuff with the school nurse. We've hired an LPN, and she is super nice. She's been at our school several days, checking in with us and working on their office. We would just like to have someone more often, if at all possible, because we've had several medical emergencies this year. Luckily, each time we've had a nurse in the building to help us with those. But it's scary to think of what could happen if we don't. So that's all I have. If there's any questions or comments?
If we had an alternative school for elementary students, how many students do you feel you would have?
Like out of
Placed
my
or-
building,
Mhm.
or just how many do you think should be in that?
No, I'm
alternate?
saying
Out
from
of
your
my building?
how many students do you think you would want to be placed in the alternative school?
I could probably place almost 3 students right now.
Okay.
There's a few iffy. They've been having more better days than bad, but I could probably give 3 right now. But I think overall, county-wise, you would still want to keep it small, especially with elementary, which does limit, but can also be helpful.
And you said that you would like to have a speech facilitator.
Mhm.
How many days does she work with the students?
She works 4 days at my school. I'm
And then
pretty
the
sure
5th
she's
day she
Monday.
goes to Hacker Valley.
She's back and forth with Hacker Valley. I'm pretty sure and she just recently changed her schedule again. I haven't looked at that new schedule, but she has been pretty much all day Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I don't think we do much
All
on
day?
Wednesday. Yeah, she has a bunch in the morning, and then she has a kind of a gap in the afternoon for probably an hour or 2, and then it's the whole rest of the afternoon till 3:00.
So where do you pull staff from?
I have some of my aides that will help out with that. And sometimes it's difficult because I need them, if things are happening, I need them in their job they were hired for. So it can be difficult. And sometimes, like with Lillian, if she's free, we can pull her in, or if someone that works one-on-one with the student or works with specific kids, if they're not there or something, where they have that free time, like a planning, they're willing to go in it and help with those.
So
But it
you're,
just gets difficult sometimes.
you're pulling the state mandated people from K through 3 to.
We have one that works, because the afternoons in 1st grade are mainly when they're going to PE and music, art, and that time period is most of their afternoon recess time. So she's not really being pulled out of classroom instructional time, because all of that's in the morning and she is in the classroom.
So which room at your school is the speech? Where they,
It depends, like.
oh, you
in
mean it
the
can
af-
change?
It changes.
Oh,
So in the
okay.
morning, I have a different person that helps, and they go into another room. In the afternoon, the person that usually helps me takes them upstairs to a small speech room.
So is this individual a teacher, or is it
Right,
just?
they're my aides. Now,
just one of the
sometimes my
aides, okay,
teachers, when they
okay,
need
so
to, I
okay,
mean, they will step
gotcha.
up and help
Okay,
if
it's just more
we're,
of an aide
yeah,
position, okay.
yeah.
I was just curious about that.
Yeah, because like I said, they really don't have to do much but be in there and be with them and help them get on and help them make
Yeah.
sure they're staying,
Yeah.
where they need to be and supervised. But like I said, it's just, there are some days that are very difficult, like if that person has to be off and I don't have a sub that picks up, I have to find someone to be able to do that. I'm doing it myself, then I'm not available to do my other job duties.
So
It
how
can
many
just be different.
students are in speech?
I would say we probably have 10, 15 or so. I mean, we're talking pre-K up. So it does take a lot of time, and it's just, like I said, no one complains about it. They're all willing to help. It's just, it's a struggle some days. Some days everything's fine and great, and other days it can be a real struggle.
So that was part of my question, so that probably cuts in. I was thinking of, are you having the time to go and observe and kind of, a lot of us as
It
teachers do
depends on
those
the
type of
day.
things. It just,
Definitely
part of
depends on the day.
A lot of things going,
Yeah.
just that, okay.
On your school nurse, how many days a week are you seeing a nurse, LPN or RN, on the average?
Definitely 2. It's like
At least
every
2.
other week.
2 every other
3.
week?
Well,
Or every
it
other
should
week,
be 3 every other week, but definitely 2. I think it's like Monday and Friday. I think I'll have to look at that schedule. We really haven't had anybody for the last few weeks. Of course, that wasn't anybody's fault. That's just kind of how things fell. So we haven't really had anybody for a couple weeks now. But I think that should be
Is she back,
starting back.
the one that was out? Okay,
So,
okay.
and it just
So who do you share the nurse with? Webster and
the
Heifer Valley,
entire
or
county,
The whole county.
the whole county.
now the, okay.
You only got one.
Yeah, share with the whole county. And I try to help out, but the blunt of it usually goes on my secretary. And some days she gets behind on her job duties because little kids need a lot sometimes. So,
Do we have a date yet on the remodeling of the front of the school? We have not committed yet.
Any other questions, board members?
all right, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Now we're down to student dispositions, which I assume there's none. Delegations. We've got 2 people to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Does it matter which order it goes in? Okay, Kathy, you wanna go first? Kathy Petrie's going, have you ever spoken to us before, Kathy?
I have not, so.
Okay, I'll just
not
kinda-
knowing how to do this.
I'll
but-
just beg, okay, you've got 5 minutes, which really is more time than what you think. We will listen, we usually don't respond, but we'll listen. So,
All right, so I'm
he's the
Kathy
one.
Petrie. I'm a prominent community member of Webster Springs. I've had children in the school system since 2015. One of them's graduated. I currently have 2. And I'm also your middle school soccer coach. So this was my first season as soccer coach. Just to kind of give you an idea from that level, as background before I get into what I wanted to talk about was, of course, middle school soccer coach was not very profitable. I didn't expect it to be. I knew the salary coming in, but to give you an idea, I made roughly $1,000, and out of my own pocket on soccer alone, I spent $1,400. Okay, so give you a little idea there of what we're talking about, kind of burdens your coaches are having here in the county. Okay, you've already heard from Carrie Jo regarding the schools, and my proposal today is for consideration of a potential levy to go into the effect for the county. Now, I know it's been proposed before. I know it's been shot down before. I've done some research. By no means do I have everything in order. There's a lot of information that goes into this. But the last time that Webster County presented a proposal for that to be on the ballot was 1994. Okay. I just think it could be profitable for our school. I think it could each individual school, but also our athletic department. We're just struggling. Bus fees went up this year. So what you're talking about is, we're really fighting. Like there were a couple of times where my kids had to find their own ways to away games, which they were just Nicholas and Braxton, so it wasn't very far. But we had to find our own ways to get there and back. The bus fees going up, I understand why, I get it. Everything's skyrocketing. But The amount of fundraisers that we're having to do just to get by in each of these sports is ridiculous. And I'm sure all of you have been approached by student after student after student after student asking, will you buy this for me, or will you donate that, or whatever. Long story short, the community is already given that amount of money. You're already being subjected to a levy. You just don't. It's not a levy. I mean, I'm giving hundreds. I don't turn away kids. When they come to me and say, hey, will you buy this? I bought $30 worth of pepperoni rolls from wrestling. You know, like, I don't turn away kids. If a kid comes to me and I've already bought, guess what? I buy again. I do it. And everybody does it. The whole community does it. So basically, on the levy, things that other counties have figured in are instructional supplies and materials, fine arts, so it will also benefit art classes and the band, things of that nature. Special instruction, so that could be your ISS, that could be your speech therapy, those kinds of things as well. School insurance, the free food, I understand we've got most of that already taken care of, but you know, these could be things that, you know, are that things put towards. Extracurricular and sports, technology, student athlete support, facility support. So instead of, you know, having to fundraise for those basketball goals down here to be repaired for $35,000, maybe that could have came into play, and you know, we'd had to do a little bit less. Supplement of budget, obviously, it looks like there's a need for that within our county, because I don't know where you're going to get the money in our county to fill the positions that all of these principals say they need, and they are needed. All of it's needed. Every single thing that has been mentioned, we have a need for here in the county. There's roughly 13,000 parcels of land that are taxed in the county of Webster. You know, it doesn't have to be a huge tax. It can, you know, a small percentage can go a long way. There are a lot of people that don't even live here that own property here, and they're not, what are they going to do? Oh, well, I'm going to sell my property and whatnot. So I ask you to, you know, please consider.
Such a violent, that's my fault.
That's okay.
I apologize for the violent timer going off.
All right. But anyway,
Scared myself a little bit there.
So I think we could really benefit from the levy, and as it's my proposal to get that so that we can continue with our school's needs, and I just think it's time that we go that route. Okay.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you very much. Beth Roberts. Now, you've spoke to us before, so you know.
Yeah, I think we should tax all the people that own property here that don't live here. I'm all for that. Just a couple quick things. I wanted to share some good news with you. You know, I've been applying for grants, and I like to give you updates every once in a while. And I received information 2 days ago that we've made it to the second round of the Spark grant, which is a grant sponsored by West Virginia for an innovative or creative idea. Do I have enough to go around there? So we did make it to the second round, which is good news, and we will be submitting our proposal for the next portion of that grant in January. We've got some Zoom meetings that we have to do in preparation for that, and I've been working with my junior class on that. That is a grant in the amount of about $10,000, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping. So I wanted to share that with you. I also wanted to just real quickly invite you all again. I know that I'd sent out an invitation a couple months ago. Since our LSIC meetings were a little different this year, I know you guys didn't get the opportunity to come into the schools, but I'd really like to share with you guys Operation Breathe Better. That grant has to be fully executed by March, so we're coming up on that deadline, and I would just love to show you guys what my students have been working on. I'm not sure what the best time or date would be, But it would probably work best if we could do something at the high school. If not, I could bring all the equipment over to this location, or even Webster Springs Elementary, I'm sure would be kind enough to let us come in, because we've went in and spoke with their students. But we focus a lot on respiratory health and wellness. And with some of the concerns that we've had about vaping, I thought it might be timely and relevant that maybe we kind of show you what we're teaching the younger kids in our county about. So if you guys could maybe take a look and consider what you might be willing to do to let my students present that to you. It's about a 30 to 45-minute presentation, and that's an activity that I'm doing with my senior students. Other than that, just happy holidays, and I hope you have a wonderful, lovely holiday season. And if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
And thank you for the goodies.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You left
Yeah.
for it, thank you very
Oh,
Yes.
much.
thank you.
Yes.
Levy the out-of-town people. There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.
And now we're down to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to bring the consent agenda onto the floor?
I motion.
Jimmy, is there a second?
Second.
Mike. Payment of bills, fundraisers, extracurricular trips, and budget. Mike, did you have a question?
You answered it. I just had a question about the one that was the COPS grant that covered it. I put that question mark. Remember which one? Here it is. It's on the install of the CCTV at Hacker Valley. It's covered by the COPS grant, $32,000.
That's more than just the Hacker Valley School.
Okay.
It only picks up the first invoice, but there's other invoices
Okay.
that make that 32,000.
I talked to Tammy prior to our meeting. That was one of the questions Mike got it at. I also asked Tammy. Susan, any questions?
No.
Lisa, any questions? Jimmy, any questions? Any other questions, Mike? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're down to number 8, new business. Is there a motion to bring new business onto the floor?
I motion.
Okay, who's gonna be
Mike.
first and who's gonna be second? Mike
Heard Mike
first,
first.
Lisa second? Yep. First item, any questions about the first item? And I assume Mr. Arbogast is gonna give us an update.
Yeah. So number 1 and 2 kind of go together. They need to, they're to the point now where they're going to have to start getting into survey and design aspects, and that's where we got to pay for some survey sites and geotech surveys and things like that do cost money before they can get into the real nuts and bolts of the design and the cost. Once they do their survey, then they'll begin the hard work they'll begin the work on a hard design. Construction, they're hoping to begin construction at latest by August of 2025, maybe sooner if they can get the site surveying completed. And again, projected completion date will be May of 2026. There's not a long lead time on these pre-engineered buildings typically, so they're not worried about the lead time. That's kind of the update on our dates. They really have to have us to approve the contract that I emailed you all regarding them to move forward to begin the design and completion phase. I had emailed you each a copy of that. Is there any questions from that contract that I emailed you? It simply just says that we're to the point. They're to the, well, it doesn't say we, they are to the point to where they can't do much more without having to start charging some money for, like I said, site survey and core drilling and geotech survey and all that stuff. So for them to really get down to a hard, clean design, they need to get these things completed. So it's my recommendation that we go ahead and move forward and start that process. And I should have at the next meeting, we should have the stuff to, I'm hoping to have everything for you to approve to start on the safe school entries at Glade and Webster Springs Elementary as well at the next meeting. We should have all the paperwork done for that as well. I'm hoping. Last time there was one question was raised that I told you that if the interest rate of that would lower, that if we would do the interest rate of the numbers I presented you last time, if those lower, that we could refinance. They do not raise. If it increases, your interest, you're frozen.
You're frozen at that.
You're frozen at that. Yeah, they'll never raise the rates. They're frozen. Only way they don't freeze them is if we refinance to lower on the lease purchase agreement. So I did find you'd asked that
Yes.
question. I want to make sure I clarified that. And that's kind of where we're at on the bus garage. They said that there's any questions that, they'll answer them. They're not, they're ready to roll. But I told them I wasn't going to do anything without taking it to you guys first, before we took it to you all first. And that's all I have on the bus garage.
Any questions about the bus garage?
Are we just gonna have them do one site?
Yeah,
Just the
Yeah,
one-
just
one
at the high school.
okay.
yeah. It'll just be at the high school. I don't think we want to go through the hoops with the insurance and the flood zone and BREM, and I think that could be a headache and a nightmare for us.
Any questions about number 3?
Uh,
This is our cell phone policy,
Yes,
right?
so I met with students, I met with a couple of the students today at Webster County High School, spoke to them for 15 minutes probably. They're ecstatic and very thankful and appreciative of what the board has done and agreed to with the policy. I asked them if they had anything else pop up, and any students came to them with anything further. They said no. They were everybody seemed to be very, very happy with it, good to go. And at this time, I had Stacy to pull the public comments. And since we put it back out for public comment at the last meeting, we had 0 public comments at this time. But I wrote down, the 30-day public comment period ends on 12/21. So the next meeting, if there are any more, I'll be able to give those to you then as well.
I kind of pulled 2 out. One was from Stacy Williams, and I assume it's our Stacy. Anyhow, and her comment, but I also liked Allison Pyle's comments
Yeah.
that she wrote.
Sure.
So I liked both. Allison had some very good comments and some suggestions about wording.
Yeah.
Wording. So do we make these changes at the next meeting?
Yes, that'll be the final. That'll be the
That's what I thought.
final. Anything that we want,
I'll bring these back.
we will add that to the policy. We will read the policy as changed, amended, or whatever, and then you will vote on that policy at that meeting.
Yeah. I like both of those. Board members, any questions about the cell phone? Camden update.
So Mr. Carpenter and I met with some students a while back, and some questions, and came up with Camden in regard to the Camden Clinic at the high school from some of our students. And there were questions that Mike and I didn't have the answers to, but we're going to find them out. We're going to figure them out and get them. And I have a meeting scheduled with Melissa Rogers and Mr. Markle on some of the procedures and processes with Camden. That meeting is going to happen this Thursday at 1 o'clock. at the high school. And I'll be able to, once we have some of that, I still have our questions, Mike, I have everything. I'll come back and I'll update you guys on how that went and what that's looking like.
Yeah, basically, our students are getting gouged by Camden. I don't care to put that on the record. I mean, what we heard, a therapy session was how much?
$150.
$150 for a therapy session for a student out there. Now, they don't bill the student, they bill the parent, you know.
But I thought when we met with Melissa, now you were at that meeting, you were
I know.
here.
Yeah.
So
That's not what
I'm
was
gonna,
said.
I'm gonna meet, get some things and, get some information in that meeting. I'll come back and provide you with that information. And I told her that she perhaps would be asked to come and some questions by the board at the following meeting. But I kind of wanted to talk tonight to see if there was, you know, I have the notes, obviously, that you and I did, Mike. And if there was anything else that you wanted to talk about, you wanted me to talk to her about, I could bring it up and then report back to you guys, or just have her come back to the next meeting, however you wanted to do that, however you want that to look. So you can let me know. We got time. The agenda will go up out next Friday. We'll have to know by next Friday. I'm gonna meet with her Thursday. I can kind of maybe give you a weekly give it to you in the weekly update, and then you guys can decide if you want her to come to the next meeting or not. Would that be okay? Okay, good. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, be sure to ask her about the staffing.
Yes.
We want
It's-
a record of how it's being staffed.
Yes,
'cause
sir.
They're not staffing it.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Any questions about number 5? Any questions about number 6?
Are these fireproof, I assume?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah,
I
they're-
wonder what the price they had to be.
Yeah, they're the top
So what are they for?
personnel files.
Person?
We're going to upgrade our personnel. All of our personnel files are going out of the old cabinets into the new ones to make sure they're definitely safe and secure.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That was the cheapest of the three. That was the cheap. That was the cheapest place. Yeah, it is. They're not cheap. But yeah, that's a lot of money for filing cabinets.
So we have 3 bids?
Yes. I don't have those. Tammy's got them back. I think I gave them to you, didn't I? The 3 bids on the.
I think you attached them maybe to the.
Yeah. So yeah, I did Amazon, Office Depot, and Quill. Those were the 3, and Amazon was the cheapest of the 3 by a lot. Several $100s, maybe up into a couple $1,000s cheaper.
And number 7.
District student enrollment for Webster County as of December 1. Glade Elementary, 325 students. Hacker Valley School, 37. Webster Springs Elementary, 189. Webster County High School, 477. Total county enrollment, 1,028 students.
Is that a decrease
What was
from
it
last
total?
month?
1,028.
No, it was the same as last
It's
month's.
the same?
Yep.
Well, Hacker Valley's 37.
I think it
I
was.
was thinking it was 36 or
36.
30, yeah. I gained one someplace.
And I think the high school was 78 instead of 77. maybe.
Gained one, lost one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gained one, lost one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, board, we ready to vote? Any questions about 1 through 7? Voting on 1 through 7. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're down to number 9, personnel. Is there a motion to bring personnel onto the table?
So moved.
Susan, is there a second?
I'll second.
Jimmy. Number 1. Any questions about number 1? Any questions about number 2?
one for D for two.
I apologize. Number 2, letter D, needs to be pulled. I apologize. Sorry.
Okay, so Webster Springs Elementary School is losing their halftime custodian, right?
Correct.
Because he's going to countywide. So is there anyone that is going to step into that spot? Do we have a substitute custodian?
No.
Sorry.
So that'll be posted tomorrow.
Yes,
then.
sir.
So,
We'll post as soon as we can, do what we can to fill it.
is the custodian at the high school that's been out, is he back now? So see,
So we don't
they're
have-
short one at the high school too.
The one that was down here with Harry Joe is now at the high school,
Oh,
so they do have somebody at the high school.
It's
Okay.
Webster Springs. We're
So-
trying.
but just as a
it's
sub until the other guy comes back, okay,
So
I got you.
we don't have any substitute custodians because they didn't apply or didn't pass the test?
Yes.
Both?
Yes. Correct. Correct. But we have a reoccurring post. We'll try to grab somebody.
Testing again anytime soon.
I have been, and again,
We
some of them
we've
pass,
we've
some of
tested
them
we've
don't.
tested every week for 3 straight weeks. We've tested.
And the one gentleman that was here one day last week called to set his appointment for fingerprinting. He can't get in until December 24th for fingerprints. So,
They're backed up.
Oh, my gosh.
Where'd they have to go for that? State police
Summersville.
Summersville?
Oh, it's not him, it's where he has to go to have
It's
the
the
fingerprint
place.
get him
done.
in.
It's the
in
place.
Summersville
I was
till
gonna,
December
I was
24th.
thinking, well,
Summersville.
is he gonna be overworked
Yeah,
anyway if
yeah.
that was the case?
Yeah.
Any questions about number 3?
So did that person pull their application or? Okay,
No, it should not.
okay.
Any questions about number 4?
James Ray, truck driver countywide, what's he gonna be doing?
That is a snow. There's not a job classification basically for snowplow operator. That person he'll be plowing all of our parking lots for the schools with our plow truck. Number 4, letter A, Lisa Fleming. That you can mark out pending certification. She has met all certification requirements. She hadn't when the agenda went out, so I didn't put that she had, but she got them. She got everything.
Any questions about number 5?
So even as a teacher, you still have to go through that?
Yeah, the AED CPR part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions about number 6?
That name needs to read Carla Hickey. Karla Hickey. I'm sorry.
And this is our English 11 vacancy, right?
Yes. Yes, high school English.
So where's that?
High school
person-
English.
Where's that person from? Is it
Somersville. Thank you. I didn't know where she was from.
What about Sydney? What grade is that?
6th
or-
grade at Glade.
We're going to vote now on 1 through 6. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're down to superintendent's updates.
Alrighty.
Are they lengthy?
I don't think so.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's
It's like, are they?
This past Friday on December the 6th, Dr. Pyle and I, we passed out books to kids at Magic on Main Street.
Yes.
That was very cold.
Oh,
Very, very cold. But we stayed warm. We moved around and slung out a bunch of books. Mr. and Mrs. Roberts were there as well with Student Council and Health Sciences. They passed out information pamphlets, candy, and books. And I appreciate you three very much for doing that. Thank you for that. It was awesome. Could have been a little warmer, but we made it. This Thursday, I'll be heading to Webster Springs Elementary for my annual Christmas paint and sip with the second graders.
He's got the one on his store from
Yeah,
last
I
year.
painted
It's
it.
really good.
I painted a reindeer with them last year. It's awesome. Had hot chocolate and Hershey bars.
So it's this Thursday.
Paint and sip. Yeah.
I got it.
Lindsay was there last year with me.
Yes, it was a great time.
There was a girl, she liked to talk beside me a lot. It was fun. It was fun. I learned a lot that day
No, it was one of the students. She's
about her and her
she's a
family
bundle
and
of
her,
energy.
her sister. Yeah. Anyway, but anyway, I can't wait. I'm so excited for that.
I
Miss,
gotta ask, what are you sipping?
what am I sipping? Hot cocoa, chocolate milk, or strawberry milk? Yeah, paint and sip. Can't wait. I'm so excited. I was able to actually get out in all the schools today. Everything looked good. Kids looked good. It was after the delays and cancellations we've had. It was nice to get back in and see our kids. So just to give you an update right now, we've used 2 traditional snow days, 1 non-traditional snow day or remote learning day, and we've used 1 3-hour delay. The traditional snow days were 11/22 and 12/5. The non-traditional snow day was on 12/6. 3-hour delay was on 12/2. You guys get all that?
And we had one student that says that he needs a raise.
He was happy that I gave the snow day. He was. I got one fan. Yeah. So we've had some heating issues over at Hacker Valley today. But Mr. Powell and Terry, Jeremy Powell and Terry, they went out and the heat is working from what I've been told. Mr. Powell had to go to Summersville, get parts, and then he flipped around and flew back here and got over there to get the heat going again. So good job. Kudos to him for that today. Dr. Powell submitted our ESSER monitoring report today. There's a pile of work that is involved in that no one ever really sees or hears, but that report is very extensive, very in-depth, and just wanted to say that that's been done and thank her for the hard work she's done for that. And I was wanting to say Tammy, she's already left. She already bolted. Okay, I'll talk to her about it. But working on the budget stuff, they're doing a lot of hard work. Everybody's doing good work. But today, Jeremy got the heat kicked back on, so I appreciate that very much. And appreciate the work Dr. Powell did on that ESSER monitoring report today as well. And is all I have.
That's all you
That's
have.
all I have.
Very good.
Hope it wasn't too long, Jimmy.
Good, good.
I just have a couple of things that I haven't mentioned because all of our meetings have been running so long. But this is from, I want to say WBEA. But anyhow, it's opening of school out of all the counties, 4 counties, they sent pictures. Webster's is in here is what I'm trying to say, Webster County. Here's their donuts and here's their, at the first day of school at the countywide meeting, which I didn't make this year, which I usually make, but didn't.
That was the unions had the donuts.
Yeah, the unions.
The one
yeah.
union bought the donut, the other union bought, I think.
The pizza? Or
Yeah,
that's
bought
how they've
pizza.
done
I
it
think,
in
yeah,
the
I think
past.
PEIA, or not PEIA, but
AFT.
AFT got the pizza and WVEA got the donuts.
Yeah. So anyhow, they have pictures in here of that. And then just something else, only because when the high school was here for their LSIC, when Venus spoke, and Mike Carpenter asked a question and wanted to know, she said, "Do you want the truth?" And he said, "Yeah, I want the truth." And it was a shock to me because I didn't realize that the morale is so low at the high school. I just didn't occur to me. Well, this was in the Webster Echo. And when I heard it on the news, I actually thought they said Wetzel County. And I called Mike to see if he had watched the same news that morning. They only did it once. I watched that same channel again at noon and again at 6. It's the only time it was on there. But they had, where I assume Gabriel had gone to Stonewall, it showed the guy that wrote this article is Roger Adkins. And I have made copies for everyone. Anyhow, our Webster County High, and this speaks to the counselors in particular, but I Googled before I came. There was 114 high schools in the state of West Virginia. Anyhow, out of those, 40 high schools got this Champion of College Access and Success Award, and Webster County is one of the 40. So out of 114, I tried to enlarge it so you could see it better, and I don't know, I talked to Joseph about it. He didn't know anything about it. When I talked to him, he
Found
might
out
now.
about it.
But I didn't know if we as a board wanted to do something, or since we've got Rachel here, maybe do an article and get pictures of our counselors. And here, Rachel, let me hand this to you. And I don't even know how this caught my eye. I usually don't read these other articles that's in our papers from other places, but Webster County, because it's at the bottom of that one paragraph. Anyhow, it caught my eye, and then I read it, and this is what was on out of the Clarksburg. My news comes out of Clarksburg, one of their channels, because I vary which one I watch, so it was either on 5 or 12. But Mike hadn't seen it, and so anyhow, so I don't know. That's just a suggestion, Rachel. Don't feel like you have to, but maybe to get a write-up, maybe pictures of them, and put it in our Webster Echo. Only that low morale, that just kind of still bothers me, that just didn't realize that it was that bad. And that's all I have. So Mike, you have anything you need to bring up? Susan?
I would like to say that I appreciate the coverage that we're getting.
Oh, I do too.
By having
I
Rachel
agree.
here. Thank you, Rachel.
Yes, I appreciate it too. I don't mean to downplay you or anything, but because you may not have realized, if I hadn't saw that little glimpse, and then I don't know what made
Hey,
me
Rachel,
read
if you
this.
swing by, I can give you some more information on
Okay.
this.
They
Yeah.
try to watch for things that are relatable. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of different news in there and people get, but
Yeah,
in looking for filler,
right.
they try to find things
Find
that
things.
you all would be interested in or
Yeah.
relates to the county.
Now, did Gabriel Markle mention that? No, no, and he still hasn't. But anyhow, Jimmy, you have anything you would need to bring up before? Lisa, do you have anything?
No.
I guess we're down to get my papers organized here. Adjournment. Is there a motion?
I motion.
Lisa, is there a second?
My second.
All those in favor? Opposed? We're adjourned.